We've just got back from the British Golf Show, and these putters, a putter I've never heard of before, were flying off the shelf like hotcakes. It's the Pure Strike Diamond putter. Now, it's got a couple of unique features, this putter, and the first one we're going to test is the feel of it, because it's in the top 15% of weight. And I'm always going on, aren't I, about, you know, putters not being heavy enough for the pace of greens that we play on the UK. Quite often struggling on longer putts, feeling as though, you know, I've got to swing the putter too long and too firm to be able to control my stroke. So I do like the idea of, you know, there being a few more sort of heavier putters on the market. So we're going to play a bit of a lag putt to start with and just test the feel. Now, you probably already noticed this is a centre shafted putter, and the line is right behind the centre of the shaft and the sweet spot, which I think for a lot of amateur golfers, you know, don't overlook that. You know, I think centre shaft putters can be fantastic, because you've probably seen me before sometimes when I'm not overly focused. You know, you might be playing on an hangover, or, you know, you're not concentrating very well. Just hitting the centre of the putter's not always, you know, a certainty. A little bit of a swing on this putt, and it's, I don't know how it looks on camera, but it's one you'd expect a 2-foot in tip down.
It is, but I mean, you could have started with an easier first putt.
It's in the circle, although I think the circle's favouring the back of the hole, isn't it? We want to make sure we get it there. For a nice weight though, I could definitely like let the putter do the work. There's one thing I could tell is that when you get it out the middle, you can really tell you've got it out the middle. It's almost like a, I don't know what you call it, good feedback, would you say? On a good strike, you can tell the difference between a sort of slight miss it and hitting the middle. And I think that's because obviously, you know, that's where the centre of the sweet spot is, behind the shaft. When I sort of caught, I think the second one, it almost felt a bit like Holloway, you know, it didn't feel as solid to hit, which is a good reminder really, especially for someone like me that can quite quickly start to strike it towards the toe. I don't know if you want to just recover from behind and just see where I'm striking it. We'll slow it down and just have a look.
Putting your stroke under pressure.
Shall I line the ball up to make it a bit easier to see? Can't get any more help than this, can I, to sit out in the middle?
I'll do that one for you.
Shall we slow it down, just have a look?
Yeah?
Yeah, it felt solid. So there's definitely something very unique about this putter. In all my life of testing putters and playing golf, I have never played a putter that's actually minus loft. So it's in a negative, it's 0.5 degrees negative loft. And the idea behind that, they're sort of saying that it helps the ball roll, you know, almost like if you can imagine trying to put topspin on.
Yep.
So rather than putting loft, you know, it doesn't jump as much, it doesn't sort of bounce or skid as much. They reckon by having a bit of a negative loft, it helps the ball roll a bit better off the face. So we've got a really long putt. I think if we were to see any jumping or skidding, this is where you would see it. And I've got to admit, some people do say to me on my longer putts that it does jump quite.
We've seen it before. I can't remember which putters, but yeah, there's been a couple up at Rotherham, I know, aren't there?
The way I'm talking, you think I'm an horrendous putter. You know, I can't hit the middle of the putter. Sometimes they jump off face, but generally I'm not bad at putting.
Get in comments,
take any
guys.
sort of help, you know, or improvements. So I'm really going to have to hit this. It's uphill. It's a 2-tier green, and it's a long putt. Did you see much?
It didn't jump, I don't think.
It didn't.
No.
Thought I hit that hard enough. How far do you think it is? About 40 yards? 35?
Something like that. It's a fair old whack.
had a little bit more in it. The strikes feel good.
Yeah.
The strikes feel solid. I'm gonna have
It
to
looks
do,
like it comes off nice.
yeah, I'm gonna have to do the toe and heel test, see how forgiving it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look to be jumping.
It's definitely one of them like length puts where I feel like the only way to get there is to use my hands a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like use your wrist, which obviously
Yeah, I hit the same putt earlier. I was surprised just how hard you actually have to hit it.
we tried to do the math there. That would better. Probably not going to get there still. I think being a completely new putter to me, obviously, it's not something I'd expect to just stand here and knock all them stiff, but it felt nice. I think you can definitely tell the difference between a good strike and a bad one.
Yeah.
You know, whether you want that feedback or not, you know, you're going to get it, and you know, probably gets you focusing, doesn't it, on your sweet spot. I'm just going to knock a couple of these in. Do you know what? I love how reactive that is on the short putt. You know that extra weight?
Yeah.
I can literally just let the putter do the work. All I've got to focus on is, you know, keeping that path square, and I ain't got to accelerate or do anything. I can, on these shorter putts inside sort of 15 feet, it really does come off a lovely weight. You don't need to knock them stiff if you can hold everything inside 20 foot. I'm only joking.
Jinxed it there.
You know, like some of the some putters are that light, even from this distance you've got to sort of help them there. Whereas with this one, it is a lovely weight from this distance to be able to just let it do the work. I feel like I'm just so light in my hands and just get it setting off. Now I'm going to do a little 6 foot test. Probably 6.5 foot. And then I'm going to finish with a toe and heel test, because I can definitely feel the difference between a good strike and a bad strike. So I want to see if it comes off at the same speed across the face, whether that's just a feel factor, or whether if you hit out the toe and the heel you're going to lose, you know, obviously roll. You know, setup wise,
Yeah.
I feel like it wants me to press forward a little bit. I don't know whether that's, if I were to sort of be vertical like that,
Yeah.
I don't know, I just feel as though it works better when there's a bit of a lean. If anybody's bought one of these and's wanting a tip from me, I just feel if I put it in the centre of my feet, like in centre here, just have a degree or, you know, a couple of degrees forward lean.
Can you see it first then when you're like, I don't think we'll be able
No,
to get it,
but you almost don't want to see the face. I like it when you don't. It's like, I don't want to see any loft, which you shouldn't do, should you? If it's 0.5 in a negative, you shouldn't see any loft. But there, when I sit it there, everything just feels better.
better. More. It's more than that.
I think this is more of a
This is just a Gaz. This is not
green reading issue than a putter issue.
You could get a £5,000 putt and it's not solving Gaz's eyes. See at that line, I still think it's at pace.
Fair. Right, if you've not seen this test, we're going to hit 2 out the centre of the putter with the yellow balls, taking it back to number 24, and then we're going to make the same backstrokes, which should encourage the same speed, to see what the difference is at the toe and the heel. Keep them consistent. they should be pretty similar in length. So you'll see now I physically can't hit the middle of the golf club here. I've actually hit the tee. I was that close to the heel. So I can't get it. If I were to hit there, it's going to hit the tee. So that felt really solid, actually. And it's not like nose diving left or anything like that. It's rolling pure. That feels really sweet, actually, out of the toe. Can I just hit one more out of the heel? I would say the toe feels very much like the centre. The heel definitely feels
A bit more dead.
a bit dead, yeah. But having said that, there weren't a great deal of difference in distance.
Pretty forgiving.
It just feels, you can just tell when you catch it out the middle, you can tell it's a little bit sweeter. Some bit of feedback. Well, to say that we're a putter I'd never tested before, there's a couple of positives. I think the first one being is, and it's not often I get wowed when I try a putter, but inside 20 feet, it felt different to other putters that I tested because it were weightier, and I didn't have to overwork it. I could literally just line up and let the weight of the putter do the work. So that stood out to me as being, well, that was the main thing I felt that were different about this putter than any other putters that I've tested. And I think when we tested the forgiveness across the face, it surprised me that although you do get a reminder when you've hit, miss-hit it and you've not hit the centre, it's still consistent on toe and heel strikes. You still get a similar sort of weight. But, I think in conclusion, this would be great for a golfer, someone similar to myself that can quite often strike the ball towards the toe without knowing it. And if you're not sure whether you do that or not, I'd suggest doing the test. Video yourself from behind and just watch some of your putts, because you'll be surprised. Striking out the middle, you shouldn't take for granted. It's not as easy as you probably might think, and you probably think you're doing it when you're not. And I think obviously with that line right behind the centre with a shaft, it's a perfect reminder really. And it does sort of get you drawn into the middle of the club face so that you can, strike it as pure as you can, excuse the pun. So yeah, definitely not one to overlook. Obviously, if you've been researching the putters, it's a low torque, pure strike, and it's a diamond putter, which I should be available on sale now.